Hey guys, just wanted to set up a video for Stellaris' new update that came out on Tuesday. We've got the update 2.2 on console, so I'll be playing it on Xbox, of course. We won't be playing with the new Stellaris Synthetic Dawn, the new DLC. I just wanted to go over some of the update items today, and just set up sort of a quick run through of what all the new things are. What's different in Stellaris? What did they give us, right? So I was fiddling around with a new species. I made a democratic species, and just wanted to see what was up. So I wanted to kind of show what all the new update stuff's going to be, and just have something easily accessible for those of you that play Stellaris that are maybe curious or need a hand with what all this new stuff means. It took me a couple hours to kind of get everything sort of figured out in the way that I want to run it. Yeah, so before I unpause, just wanted to talk to you guys about what's going on the top here. So we recognize energy, minerals, food, and those are the base resources from the first, or the older version of the game rather. But now we have a few more new ones. So we've got consumer goods and alloys. So consumer good and alloys use your raw materials to make new items, and these are also required for your planets. Alloys are very important for your spaceships. Spaceships no longer require minerals. You have to make them with alloys now. They've moved strategic resources over here and they've simplified them. They've put them all together there. Influence, we recognize that, and unity for traditions. They've put science together, so they've just kind of made it one section, and then you can highlight it to break it down. It still looks the same, so you can do the different researches in there. Just kind of condenses it. Then we've got Empire Sprawl. So this was new. This is what they did to sort of better define your territory. So they talked about it a lot in the update video when they were talking about it. So Empire Sprawl is the way they did it. So what you gotta do is each star system that you want to be part of your empire, you have to build an outpost. So you build your little outpost. What they've done is it still costs influence to build outposts, but there's no monthly influence cost. That was one thing that I know when I was playing the older version of Stellaris. I'd have maybe one outpost. You'd use it to terraform a planet, and once you colonized it, you tear the outpost down, right? So, but now you have to have sort of stake your claim on the territory with an outpost. So it costs influence and alloys to build the outpost, and you have to have one in every system, and you actually have to have one in every system you want to colonize. So if I had terraformed maybe this planet here, it's in my territory, so I can terraform it. But if it was outside my territory and it was green, say Aspira here, if I click on it and I want to colonize it, I can't do it. It's not inside of our borders. So outposts are very important now. You have to claim the territory, and then you can colonize it. So I've got Elor here. Now I can colonize it because it's in my territory. So Empire Sprawl is a kind of a measure of how big your empire is versus how much you can manage. So it's similar to the core planet system from the old one. So you can see here my Empire Sprawl is 79, and I can only handle 80. I ran into some issues before I figured out the outpost stuff. Over in this part of space, I had only had, there's a planet there, so I had an outpost there, and then I think I had like one down here, and maybe like one up here, and then all the rest were not attached, kind of cut in like this system here. And it actually puts strain on the empire, so you do want to have stars that are close to your system. Don't leave them out. You want to kind of fill it in, make it a nice, not circle, but fill in the space. Don't leave out any star systems. Yeah, so that's so far what I can figure out for Empire Sprawl. I haven't gone over the admin capacity yet, so I don't know how that's going to negatively impact me if I do go over it, but yeah, whatever, we'll figure that out later. Here, just a breakdown of your systems and your colonized planets, pops, total pops. This one's new. So this is starbase capacity. So as you can see, I'm at 5 out of 5. So starbases, like, it's an upgraded outpost essentially. So I build an outpost here, and I click on the outpost, and then I can upgrade it. So you see how I've got upgrade highlighted. Yeah, I mean, it basically allows you to build your modules like you used to be able to. The smaller outposts you can't. You can see there. Can't build any modules. I need to upgrade it first. So star bases have replaced the orbiting platforms above every habitable planet that you could build. So you don't necessarily have to have a star base over your colonized planets. And in fact, as you increase the number of planets you colonize, you might not be able to accommodate having star bases on all of them. So the pro that I can see to this is, for example, I've put a starbase here, and it's at a choke point, sort of crossroads. So you can build defensive platforms that increase the strength of it. If we go to defenses, we can build platforms that'll increase the fleet strength number, right? Yeah. So you can put them at choke points. If you've got the core of your territory. I like to play with, or I used to in the old system rather, play with the star bases that were closest to my borders, especially when I was going to go on the offensive and attack someone. If I have Elor here, if this was colonized, I'd have a star base here, and if I wanted to attack this guy, I'd only run shipbuilding out of this area, and if I really needed to build it up fast, I'd do it from a neighboring system. I'd ignore anything in here, in the middle. So you'd have the star base above the planet, and then it'd be almost kind of useless to you, right? So they really gave you a lot of flexibility where you want to put your star base, and, do you want to put a shipyard on it, which you have to have if you want to build ships at it. Come on. So you have to have the shipyard add-on, so you can see it here. So because I don't have it built, it's that third tab there. I can't access it. Once I continue upgrading this station, I'll be able to add another module there. So we'll just go ahead and upgrade it. So the next level is called a Starhold. Alrighty. So yeah, like I was saying, you can only have a certain number of star bases. So you have to have an outpost in every system you want to control, and then you can upgrade and actually downgrade your star bases. If eventually I don't want this Zastia one here, I just click on that one and just downgrade it. And then I can bring down the number of star bases that I control. Haven't run over on this one, so we'll see what happens if I ever do. And then of course your fleet capacity is there again. So yeah, so those are the new. That's the new top bar, I suppose. So let's go take a look at a planet, and then we can break down those new resources. So we got here's the planet. So the Paradox video definitely showed what this is all going to look like. I feel like they went into it pretty well about how the tiles are going to be replaced. But one of the things that it took a little bit of trial and error for me is how the buildings on your planet affect your resources, resource generation to be specific. So you've got your districts up here: city district, generator, minerals, agriculture. So these three we know and love. They're your raw resources from the older version, and then the city district. So what each of these do is you sort of build an addition onto this district, and it will create jobs for your pops to do. And that's where it's different from, like, this update is different. Building a building and then having a fully grown pop on it to get your resources has been replaced with having jobs for your pops to do. And then as they're doing the work, that's where you're getting your resources from. So upgrading, let's say if I wanted to upgrade my mining district, I want to get my minerals going, it'll create 2 mining jobs. But the problem is if I don't have the pops to do it, then I'm not going to get those minerals. Similar to not having a fully grown pop on a tile in the older version. but I was having a hard time in early game. I didn't know that you could upgrade these districts. So you definitely want to make sure that you're keeping an eye on that, especially if you find yourself low on some resources. Like I'm running an energy deficit right now, so I got to get that turned around. But this is where you'll get your raw resources from, so your electricity, minerals, and food. You'll notice that each upgrade also gives you some more housing. So you do need somewhere for your pops to live. I haven't figured out, or I haven't run into the issue yet of not having enough housing. I ended up building a whole bunch of buildings before I had the pops for them anyway, so, you know, is what it is. You'll see the little squares on the districts too. That's your total ability to build these buildings on your planet, but you still have like the old tile restrictions. So if we go to this screen over here, there's 20 tiles. So we've replaced that terminology with districts. So there's 20 districts on this planet. So I've got, you know, I've got 4 here, 8 here, 4 here, 4 here. So there's my 20. So I have a whole bunch of these agricultural squares here, but I can't upgrade it anymore because I've reached the maximum amount of districts. You know, I can demolish if I need to. If I find I run low on food, I can demolish this and then add to the agricultural district. But yeah, so just keep that in mind. There's a limit to the number of districts you can build. These are just the total possible. So of course I maxed out my power. I always have an issue with power energy credits when I'm playing Stellaris. So yeah. And then you can build buildings that unlock at your pop level. So your different pop levels here, every 5 you can get access to a new building. So you start out with the Planetary Administration, Research Labs, Alloy Facility, Consumer or Civilian Industries, and then dependent on your empire, I started with a robot plant. So these are, I guess I would explain them as like specialist jobs. These are where you're going to get your consumer goods, your alloys. These buildings, they turn raw materials into other things. So for example, the research labs adds you 2 researcher jobs, so you can get your technology points. And the upkeep on this is that they need consumer goods, right? If we go to the alloy, they're going to turn minerals into alloys. So you're going to need to supply minerals to that, and they'll turn them into alloys. For the consumer goods, once again, minerals to consumer goods. For the robotic one, you're going to turn minerals into robots. So that's kind of cool. They definitely left the Unity Monument. And then this one, luxury residences. So because you do need housing for your pops, they give you the option to build more housing. Each district gives you 2 housing for every add-on you do to it, so I haven't, like I said, run into an issue with housing, but I added this one because you have to have amenities. So that's the music and masks icon. If you look up to the top middle of the screen, you'll see planet status and the music and masks icon. So you have to keep your people entertained now, otherwise you'll get some unrest that happens on the planet. And yeah, I've had that issue already. So I added the luxury residences to hopefully boost my amenities. And then, of course, the Holo Theater. Once again, to just kind of boost that amenities sort of thing. And it does actually produce Unity. So that was nice. You know, I like to get the traditions going pretty quick. So if we go to the population tab, this is where you're going to have the breakdown of the jobs based on the buildings that you've put into the planet. You know, you can go into the list and look at them. They've broken them into tiers. You'll see on the bar that I have highlighted on the left, there's the like top of the pyramid, the rulers, then you've got the middle class, then you've got the like lower class. And then the list of the jobs that are within each tier. So you've got 2 ruler slots. The rulers are going to make you Unity, and they're going to give you some of that entertainment amenity value. Then you go into your specialists. These are going to be your materials, your minerals and things that are turned into alloys and consumer goods, your entertainers, your scientists, and your robot guy. And you can look at all the different jobs and what they're doing. So for example, I have 2 researcher jobs. They're taking in 3 consumer goods and producing 12 each of the sciences. Metallurgist taking in minerals for alloys, so on and so on. This one's interesting. This is the Enforcer one. I didn't touch on it in the other tab, but it's a building that you can have, and it gives you, minus unrest. I think they've replaced unrest with crime, if I'm not mistaken. I can definitely go to that in the summary tab. And then I think they also add the defense jobs. Yeah, minus 25 to crime, and 2 to planetary defense armies. So, if you want to, with this being the capital world, if I wanted to, I could build more Enforcer jobs, more Enforcer buildings to create more jobs to then have more defensive armies and reduce the crime and such. The artisans here, the civilian industries turning minerals into consumer goods. Then we got the entertainers turning consumer goods into unity and amenity. Culture workers, so I think this is from my temple. So I built a temple. Yeah, we'll definitely have to go check. So the temple will actually generate you society, research, and unity instead of just unity, so I was pretty stoked on that. I always like to run some sort of like minor spiritualist as a second. I did fanatical spiritualist once and didn't really do anything, so I like to run it though because I like having the temple. And then in the older version, then you can have the psionic abilities. And here's the robots, the 6 minerals, creating 2 robots per month. And then they can, of course, the robots can do the old menial jobs down here. So you've got some clerk roles, which are created in the city districts. Then you've got technicians are the energy, mining, and food. And then 2 pops are unemployed. So these guys are unemployed because they can't work the energy. They can do the mines, they can do the farming. That's kind of like the old system. If you put a robot on an energy plant, you'd be... it wouldn't be as efficient. It wouldn't work as well. So they've completely kind of pulled that off. Even a possibility. So the robots can do the mining and the agriculture. So I've got 2 unemployed robots, which is too bad. I might be able to resettle them to another planet if I need to, if I need some miners. So really what I'm doing is I'm waiting for pops to take these jobs. So that's why I'm not building any other buildings on this planet. I mean, I am full, waiting for pops to grow to get that next slot. I can't build any more districts anyway. So all I'm waiting for is some pop growth. Get these jobs filled here. And then once the jobs are filled, they'll start producing things. So I don't have any clerks to produce amenities or trade value. Well, that's too bad. Right? Armies tab is fairly similar. You only have the opportunity to recruit assault armies. The defensive ones, like I said, they are determined by your enforcement building level thing. So on the summary tab, this is also similar too. We've got, it's really cool over here, we've got the edicts, has been replaced with decisions, and they don't all cost influence. They all cost different things, right? So let's say I want the pops to grow. I've got 3.4k food. I want to encourage pop growth. So we're going to turn that on. We're going to have the pops grow and hopefully get those jobs filled, right? This one will increase amenities and immigration. So with it being the capital world, I don't want to draw people away from my colonies, so I'm not going to turn that on. To discourage growth, martial law, locks everything down. But it does kind of reduce your resource generation, but it does increase your stability. So if you, probably useful when you start fighting other races in the galaxy and you take their planet, and, might be useful to do martial law for a little bit. Then cease robot assembly. Might not be a bad idea to do this, since I have too many robots anyway. Oop. And then as they go up, you can see they come on the planet modifiers tab. Oh, there you go. And it looks like the robot assembly was a toggle, so if I want to turn it back on at any time, I can do it for free. Not too shabby. Alright. So that's the main planet tab. So that's how you're going to get alloy and things like that. Now, if you're running really low on stuff, you can actually go up to your resource bar and start buying and selling things for energy credits. So, I'm sitting on a lot of minerals. So we click A on the minerals and it takes you to the market tab. So this market tab allows you to, trade away your items or buy some new ones. I found in the older version I would just sit on 5k food After the first 100 years, I would just sit on 5k food for the entire game, and it didn't really do anything for me. You know, I'd build the odd paradise dome if it ever went below 0, and then that's it. So I really like the idea behind this. You know, I'd love to sell a whole bunch of the food that I have that I'm not going to be using. I've got a plus 20 right now. Minerals, I don't have enough alloy plants and jobs filled to, you know, eat up all these minerals, so I might as well sell some. So you can see if I've got the minerals highlighted, I can press A to buy or X to sell, so we're going to just sell some. Gives you different amounts that you can sell. We're just going to sell a couple thousand. That'll get me my energy credits back up. And then if you want to buy something, it is going to cost energy credits to get your hands on it. If we want to buy some alloy to get stuff going. The more you buy and sell, the more the price will be affected. So you can see here on the buy side, one alloy is 6.96 energy. If I click on buying 25, that actually increases it because of the fee to buy. If I want to sell, you know, if I want to sell 25, let's go back to minerals. So if I want to sell, right now one mineral is worth 0.64. If I sell 100, it goes down. There. It goes back down. It's quite interesting. I like the mechanic though, and we'll see. Hopefully I don't completely destroy the alloy one, where I can't utilize it anymore, because it's already at 1 alloy is 7 energy credits. I've been buying a lot of alloy. Yeah. Haven't really had to do automatic trades yet, but this is obviously diplomacy with another faction. And then there's a grayed out tab for slave market, so if you do run the, I think it's the authoritarian ideals or whatever, get access to a slave market and start trading people. I don't know how that would necessarily go, but yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of the planet tabs. Now I want to show the this little jewel symbol here, so the trade value. Trade value is collected by trade hubs. So if we go to our starbase, one of the buildings that you can add on is a trade hub. So it allows you to collect this material. There's no station that you can build over it for trade value. You just need to collect it. So out here in the wide world, we've got some, you know, little symbols out here collecting trade value. I haven't quite hammered this down yet, but I've got the trade routes figured out. So if you go to a starbase and it's got a trade hub on it, you'll be able to look at trade routes. So we click on that, and you can see the path goes from the starbase to your capital world. So what happens is it's taking, you know, it's collecting trade value on its way to the capital, and it's losing some along the way due to piracy. You know, if you had a fleet, you can set fleets to patrol now. So, you know, you can have a fleet patrol the area where the pirates are really bad, maybe save yourself some of that trade value. But it starts at 5 at the station that we've got selected, and then it just kind of makes its way through. Yeah, picks up some, drops some off, and then it ends up with 5 trade value being dropped off at the main base. And then I have another one here. Click on this, trade routes. That's going from that system over to the home system. So it's not a very long trade route. I do have one star system that's not in my control. The guy beat me to it. But the 3 trade value that's on the route is protected. No pirate activity or anything going on. I think it's because it's close to the home system. All these pirates are here. Pretty pirates. Yeah. So I haven't quite figured out what the trade value is going to be doing for us yet, but I do see these trade routes going on. Alrighty, well, I just wanted to cover off some of the basic stuff from my first few hours playing. Hopefully that helps any of you that are playing Stellaris out there. Definitely the planet stuff was not immediate to me, so hopefully that helps people out with the districts and building the districts up to get your resources going. These were super easy to figure out. You get a little plus symbol on the tile when it's unlocked, you build a building and you think that's it, right? but you got to keep an eye on your jobs. Oh, one thing I wanted to show, I guess, you can highlight a job if you wanted to, and you can press the A button to favorite it, and what's going to happen is people are going to want to fill that job. So, you know, if I click A on it, it's going to favorite it, and you're going to find that these jobs get filled up as soon as I turn it back on. So if you're running an energy deficit like I am, but you're hurting for energy, you can turn on the technician job and then have that job filled in. Yeah, alrighty. So that's kind of the basics. Once I figure out more things, I'd like to put out a couple more videos. We'll definitely do one on ship design and fleet management. Definitely go through that. The ship design, very similar, but the fleet management's a great feature that they've added. And we'll definitely go on for some more things. Maybe by the time of the next video, I'll figure out what trade value does for everyone. Alrighty, folks. Take it easy. Enjoy Stellaris. You know, leave a comment if you have any questions or anything you want me to talk about in the next video. Thanks for watching.